Hello, class. So, there appears to be a common problem on this week's homework that is getting you confused. Like I said, probability sucks. However, this is a PH-Stat2 problem, and using PH-Stat2, we can answer the parts of this problem fairly quickly. So, one or more of you have this same exact question. It asks for about the quarterly returns for a group of mutual funds, and it gives you a mean and standard deviation. Those two values are what you need to be able to use and solve the parts of the problem. So in my version here, the sample size is 74, and I've got a mean of 1.2% and a standard deviation of 6.8%. And it gives you these figures here, the decimal point versions of those percents here, because you're going to need to use those in PH-Stat2. So make sure you have PH-Stat2 installed. It's going to be under your add-ins menu here. And you just go to PH-Stat. We go to probability and probability distributions, and then to normal. Okay, so PH-Stat, probability distributions to normal. And then we're going to get this nice little menu here. And this is what I'm saying. You just plug in the numbers here. So we've got 0.02 as the mean, 0.068 as the standard deviation. And this first question is asking what are the cutoff values for the highest 10%. Okay, so the highest 10% means we need this distribution, the normal distribution, is based on, it's got finite tails, but when it's the highest 10%, we're talking actually about the 90th percent level. So what we want to do is this first box is already checked for us, so we're just going to uncheck that. We want to go for a cumulative percent up to 90. So simply 1 minus 10% gives us 90. We can say this is for part A. We click OK. OK. Here's our X value. So you just convert that to a percent, which is simply, you can just do this times 100. We get 9.91. As we see here, 9.91% is the correct answer. For part B rather, and part D, they're actually kind of the same problem because all z-scores come in a plus or minus value depending on what side of the distribution you're on. So we could actually answer part B and D simultaneously here. Part B, again, we just go to probability, normal. Now what we want to do here, again, we plug in our means and our standard deviation. Now it's asking for the lowest 40%. Okay, so we're going to go back to it. We're solving for X for a cumulative percentage. Lowest 40 is on the left side of the curve, so we're just going to drop the number 40 in here. This would be B, and click OK. Here's our answer, minus 0.52%. So again, to get your percent, you can just take that value, times it by 100, and lo and behold, there's a correct answer, minus 0.52%. Now, D, we're going to skip C for a moment, is basically asking the same question but on the right side of the distribution. So you would do exactly what you just did, and except the X value, now you see the caret here has changed from less than to greater than. So greater than, we're talking to the right side of the curve. Less than, we're talking about the left side of the curve. So done. So let's use this with C, and it's asking for the middle 60%. So right off the bat, since we're talking about the middle, we know there's a left side and a right side value, so it's going to have to be this one that has the two values in it. Okay, so how do you get those two values? Now this is a little tricky because it's two parts. Okay, there is a range function within PH-Stat that should solve this problem, but it doesn't work all that well. So you just kind of have to repeat your steps twice. So I have this here already done. So here we have our mean and our standard deviation. Okay, and again, remember this is off probability, normal, and the cumulative. Okay, and once you get these pH-stat output worksheets, you can change the values in here. So I probably forgot to say, for those who have different means and standard deviation problems, you can just change these values in here. Okay, so but on this particular problem, it's asking for the middle 60%. So 60%, what we got to do here, 60% minus 100%, or 1 minus 0.6. Okay, that gives us 40%, and we need to split that on each side of the distribution. So we know that we have to look at the value at 20%, and we know we have to look at the value of 80%. Okay, because that's the full distribution. So we can start with 20%. So here I just typed in 20%, and I've now got my left tail value of minus 4.52. Okay, so we know at least that's correct. So how did I get this value of 6.92%? Well, we go back to our little worksheet, and now we're going to change this to 80, and lo and behold, there is our 6.92%. Voila, correct. See, not too bad. pH-stat 2 makes it easy. That's it.